How many souls do you harbor? We wield them by the thousands, yet you have no heart.
Kombat wins. Flawless victory.
Calling it the highest successful fighting game for Mortal Kombat 3. And this is what it looks like. Yep, and some of that was blood flying there. Now with us tonight is the creator of the Mortal Kombat videos, Ed Boon, who's sitting right next to me, and John Tobias. Gentlemen, welcome. You know, as these things evolve, parents are getting a bit concerned because they get more and more graphic, and they're accusing you, or at least other critics as well, that you're marketing gratuitous violence with real no end in sight. I mean, the games do nothing except sit there and you watch people die. Are you?
Absolutely not. I mean, what we provide is a form of entertainment in the form of a video game. The violent aspect of the video game is you know, is a minor aspect in the overall scheme of the game itself. The players, I think, are aware of that. We're aware of that. Maybe somebody looking on the outside, unfamiliar with the game itself.
What do kids learn, Mr. Boone, out of this? What do they learn?
There's no learning value. It's just like any other form of entertainment. It's just you go there to have fun. You go there to play the game. Most of the people who critics of the game haven't even played the game, and they don't realize that exactly what points in the game there's violent aspects of it.
We see kids looking at increasingly violent movies. They see a lot of violence in the news. They see a lot of violence on TV. Why do they need more of it? I mean, are you concerned at all that they're being overexposed to violence, with perhaps the idea or the residual effect being that they become desensitized to watching people die, because all they have to do is push a button and it starts again?
There's a lot of parallels, exactly like you said, with movies, and that's why a couple years ago there was a rating system that our industry kind of came up with, similar to the rating systems that you have in movies, and that provides parents and other players, for instance, the knowledge they need as to the content of the game, and they can make their own decisions as to whether they feel that's appropriate.
Is there going to be a Mortal Kombat 4, and will you ever draw the line where you say it's too violent?
Yeah, there's of course we're going to draw the line.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
All right, Mr. Boone, Mr. Tobias, you're very young guys, huh?
Thank you.
All right.
A fantasy martial arts game, as some parents think is just too violent for their kids. Carol Lynn joins us live now from Northridge with more on that story. Carol?
Here it is, Bob, behind me. It's called Mortal Kombat, and we're going to talk to Aaron Brandis here about the game. Aaron, how does it work?
Well, basically, you pick a couple characters, you do maneuvers on the joysticks and buttons, you do moves, and
And then what are you trying to get to? Fatality?
nah, there's a master guy you got to beat at the end. Fatalities are just what happens if you're really brutal to your opponent. You get an opponent, you can rip off his head or something like that.
Sounds like a pretty thrilling game, and this is the kind of violence that critics are pretty worried about. Cold-blooded murder is making Mortal Kombat the most popular video game in history. Kids relish their victory and their bloody choice. Should they pull out their opponent's heart, or simply rip his head off just to see his spinal cord dangle in a pool of blood? How do you feel about cutting his head off? After a $10 million advertising campaign, Mortal Kombat, debuting in home video today, is expected to sell 2 million copies at $50 a pop. A horrifying possibility for parents who can't believe the game makers are fantasizing about decapitation and murder.
I don't think they'll have this at home, no.
You don't think so?
A little bit too violent.
A little startled.
Yeah, it's a little too violent, I think.
That's pretty bad. That's just plain gross. Furthermore, advanced technology allows digitized video of real martial arts actors, making the action look real and not as cartoony. In fact, Mortal Kombat so shocked the managers at a nationwide arcade chain that they tried a sanitized version of the game. Instead of chopping the opponent's head off, he simply disappears. Sales dropped 40%.
They came up and said, what'd you do to the game? It's no fun anymore.
Kids are saying chill out to worried parents.
I think TV personally influences more than a video game. Video game is a video game.
The bottom line, parents wonder if kids can separate fantasy from the real thing.
Wait until they get out in a situation where they're fighting, and then they'll think about this and try to make it real.
But, you know, game makers are saying that games are going to become more visually violent and more sexually violent as adults buy more video games. I mean, it's a big money market, $50 to $60 a pop. Plus, some of the critics say, or they at least concede, that parents have to be there in order to pay for the game, so at least there's some discretion there. And game makers are also talking about a new rating system similar to the movies. We'll see what happens. I'm Carol Lynn reporting live from Northridge. Back to you.
All right, Carol.